Screw it, let's get this thread back on topic. Be 7 years or so at the time. We're living with my grandmother after my parents got divorced. House in a medium-sized town outside of El Paso, some parts still pretty rural. Out behind grandma's backyard's a vacant lot, some grass, a big tree and auto zone to the far left, not much else. Out past the lot is the street and my elementary school. Looks pretty spooky at night, lights of the auto shop dimly light the yard. Grandma has huge garden, lots of trees, flowers, etc. Looks menacing as hell at night, always imagined eyes hiding out back and watching me in the brush. Pretty stormy night, flash flood warning if I remember correctly. The backyard would flood when it rained a lot, making it look like a pond. Would take advantage and play Jurassic Park with my toys, but that's beside the point. Always liked to be spooked, ask mom if she had any stories growing up. Tells me she and her friends used to play in the lot. Used to be a canal there and they'd play in the water during the summertime. Grandmother would tell her La Llorona would get her if she stayed up late. Mom would have frequent nightmares about her wandering around the house, saying, "Ay mis hijos, donde están mis hijos?" One night has a different nightmare, here's how it went. She wakes up from a dream, feels spooked and looks outside. There's a witch-looking creature with long fucking arms. Arms were long enough to embrace the entire backyard. She wakes up at that point. Little me is sufficiently spooked and stays awake at night, still spooked. Turn over in my bed, see a figure standing out in the yard. Looks like one of those tall things from that Marilyn Manson video. Beautiful People I think it's called. I cover my eyes with my hands out of fear. Uncover them and she's closer now. Long fucking arms to one side. She shuffles closer to my window on her stilt legs. Cover eyes again, uncover them. She's peeking in through my window, long matted hair covering her face. She's far enough inside that part of her torso is in, too. Mind isn't sure where to go from here, I wake up. Storm still beating pretty hard outside. Eventually managed to go back to sleep. Morning comes, I wake up. Hot West Texas sun dries up pond in the yard within hours. No water save for some puddles, big-ish puddle at the center of the yard where the pond pools up. Go wander around outside for a bit, it's a Saturday/Sunday, nothing to do but mess around on my PS2, got bored. Realize the fence looks lopsided. What the hell? Go to investigate. See the fence is sunk into the ground fairly deep in the right side of the yard. Think there's no real reason for this to have happened unless a shit ton of weight was placed on top of it. Fence's poles were held in place by cement, cement is covered up by mud too. Looks like the ground itself sank a bit. Remember the dream, get spooked. Run inside, tell Grandpa. He digs the poles out of the ground and mends the fence over a day or two. Think La Llorona is after me, spooked for a few days. A week. So later, the incident is at the back of my mind. Lay down to sleep. Have a nightmare like my mom's other one. It's daytime. Doing normal shit inside, a normal dream for the most part. Playing by my windows. Here, I miss hijos and other stuff. Get spooked and run to the other side of my house. Dream continues normally from there on. It was probably just the ground collapsing a bit from the storm, but it was spooky nonetheless. I'll share another story about my mom's childhood. Give me a bit to do some typing. Alright, this one's a story my mom told me as a kid. Not really sure what it's about, I guess you could skew towards either eyes or ghosts on this one. Kinda short, but I have another story about my dad I'll post. Be little me. Interested in ghosts and ilamos and stuff. Ask mom. She tells me a story. She and her best friend at the time are having a sleepover. They're doing girl stuff, I dunno. They hear what sounds like hooves and chains on the road outside. Kitchen window faces the road. They look out the window. See what looks like orbs of light of yellow and blue floating down the road. Gets past that side of the house. They go around to the living room window to see more of it. It goes past my grandma's house and gets about 2 houses further down. It begins to lift straight up into the sky. They're spooked and unsure of what to make of it. She's still not sure to this day whenever I ask about it. Dad's story is next. Dad's story. Dad's side of the family lives in Van Horn, little town in the middle of the desert in Texas. Grandpa, Dad's side, owns a gas station, still there today under new management. Dad and my uncle are wandering around town since they're kids and there isn't jack to do in Van Horn. Wandering around, it's getting dark. Desert nights are dark as hell. They're on the outskirts of town where houses and businesses start to disappear and highway and desert takes over. Decide to start heading home, they hear what sounds like hooves behind them. They turn around. There's a freaking goat out of nowhere. They freeze and it charges at them. They take off at the speed of light, the goat on their tail all the while. They get into town, it's still after them. It chases them a few blocks. They start to pray to God for help. They run for a bit more and the sound of the goat's hooves on concrete starts to fade away. They come to a stop and turn around. No goat to be seen. They run to the gas station since it's close at the house. That's all I got.